Welcome to Behind the Books with Brandy, the podcast that makes taxes, bookkeeping, and small business finances easier to understand. Now, here's your host, Brandy Bodine, owner of BB Taxes and Notary. Hey, friends, and welcome back to Behind the Books with Brandy. I'm Brandy. Today, we're going to step away from tax forms and talk about bookkeeping, the part of the business that can feel boring until the numbers start hollering at you. Because here's the truth, your numbers are always talking. They're telling you whether your money is coming in consistently. They're telling you whether expenses are creeping up. They're telling you whether your prices are working. They're also telling you whether or not you have enough cash to handle that next bill, repair, or even that next slow week. The trouble is, most business owners do not hear those messages until there's a problem. They wait and wait until the account is low, or they wait until tax season, or maybe they wait until they need a loan to catch up. Maybe they need to explain why there's no money left, or need to figure out why they're working nonstop without feeling like the business is moving forward. That's why I want to talk to you about a simple monthly bookkeeping check in. Not a 3 hour meeting, not a fancy boardroom presentation, not a stack of reports that you do not understand. Just a regular time to look at the facts of your business before they become an emergency. So let's go ahead and get into it. First, bookkeeping is not just entering a transaction. Bookkeeping is the process of keeping an accurate record of your business's money. That comes in, what goes out, what you owe, what you own, and how the business is actually performing. And I know a lot of people hear that word bookkeeping and think that's just for taxes. Yes, taxes are a part of it, but that is not the whole point. Think about a vehicle. Would you wait until the engine locks up before checking the oil? Looking at the gauges or paying attention to the warning lights? No, you check in along the way because it's cheaper. It's easier to handle a small issue than a full breakdown. Your books are the dashboard to your business. They can't make a decision for you, but they can show you what needs your attention. One of the most useful reports in bookkeeping is called a profit and loss report. You may also hear it called an income statement, but in plain language, it answers three questions. How much money came in? How much money went out? What was left after expenses? That last number, that is your profit or loss for the time period you're looking at. And please remember this, profit is not always the same thing as cash sitting in your bank account. We can have profit on paper, but not have any cash available. Just because you use cash to pay down a debt, buy equipment, purchase inventory, pay yourself, or cover bills, they're not showing as current expenses in the same way. You can also have money in the bank and still not be fully profitable if that money needs to cover upcoming bills, sales tax, payroll, inventory, debt payment, or even taxes. That's why we need to look at things more than just during our check in. Here's a very simple example. Let's say you own a service business. In June, you brought in 8,000. You had $3,000 in operating expenses. On the surface, that is going to look like a $5,000 profit. But then you remembered that you have to pay 2,000 towards a loan. You bought a $1,000 piece of equipment and you took out 1,500 to cover personal household needs. That doesn't mean that the business failed. That means that you need to understand the whole picture before assuming the business has 5,000 to spend. That is why we need a monthly check-in. That's why it matters. Now, I want to give you four things to look at every month. The first is your income. Ask yourself, how much did the business bring in this month? Compare it to the last month. Compare it to the same time last year if you have that information. Helps with patterns. Maybe summer's always slow. Maybe certain services sell better around tax season. Maybe weekends bring in more business than weekdays. Maybe one product is carrying all the business more than you realize. Do not panic over a slow month. but do notice your trends. The second thing I want you to look at is your expenses. Ask yourself, what did I spend money on this month? Did anything surprise me? You may see that an expense went up. Maybe supplies cost more. Maybe your card processing fee is climbing up because sales are climbing up, which could be normal. Maybe you have a subscription that you forgot about. I know I have a few of those. Maybe you're spending more on fuel, shipping, advertising, repairs, or even contract labor than you expected. The goal here is not to cut every expense. Some expenses help your business grow. The goal is to know what you are paying for and whether or not it's helping. Third thing I want you to look at is profit. After you look at your income and your expenses, I want you to ask, did this business make a profit this month? Then the next question after that is this profit enough for the amount of work, risk, and time that I have going into this business? Sometimes a business is technically profitable, but the owner is still underpricing their work. And you see that a lot with small businesses. But let's say that you're making that small profit and you're working 60 hours a week just to get there. That is a sign to look at pricing, cost, workflow, and the services that you're offering. Do not be afraid to let the numbers tell you the truth. Fourth thing I want you to look at is your cash. Ask yourself what cash is available right now and what bills are coming due next. This is your cash flow check. You may have good sales during the month, but still be heading into a tight week because of rent, inventory, insurance, payroll, loan payment, tax deposits, all about to come out. A business can be busy but still run short on cash. That's why looking at your bank balance ahead could be looking with misleading. This is where business owners, or at least where I tell business owners, check in before you check out. Before you transfer money to yourself, before you place a large order, before you add a new monthly subscription, before you say yes to a discount, and before you assume the business can afford something, look at the numbers. That's not being negative, that's being responsible. Now, I want to talk to you about monthly routines that we're going to work in real life. Remember, I'm a mom, I'm a business owner, I've got kids, I've got parents, I've got a husband, I've got a life. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to choose one day each month. Put it on your calendar just like it's an appointment. Maybe it's going to be the first Monday of the month. Maybe it's the first Friday after your busiest week. Maybe it's the last day of the month after the kids are settled down and you finally have a cup of coffee in peace. The exact day is less important than making it a consistent exact day. So make sure it's something that you know that you're going to do and put it on your calendar every single week of every single day, make that. During that check-in, I want you to start by making sure that your business bank and credit card transactions are both up to date. Once all that's up to date, I want you to look at your income, add that all up. Then look at your expenses, add that all up. Make sure that matches your profit and loss report. Then look ahead, see what bills are going to be due next month. Keep a notebook, write these things down. What went well, what needs attention, what is one decision I need to make next. Maybe you notice a service is selling well, but you want to promote it more. Or maybe you notice you're spending too much on a subscription that you barely even use. Or maybe you didn't notice that vendor price that had raised. Now it's time to look at your own pricing. You have to set aside money for taxes, so make sure you have to realize that you did or did not do that. But maybe you're seeing that your business is doing better than you ever thought. And that is when you can finally make a plan for equipment, inventory, clearing of a debt, or even growing. The point is to use the numbers, not just collect them. And I want to say something that matters to a lot of business owners. Do not use your bookkeeping as a reason to beat yourself up. Your books are not there to shame you. They're there to show you truth so that you can make a better decision next month. A slow month is information. An expensive month is again information. A month where you forgot to track something is information. Just fix what you can fix. Fix what you can see. This is why I love helping business owners with their books. When the records are clean, people often feel less overwhelmed. They can stop guessing and they can make decisions with facts instead of fear. And that matters. Whether you're running a service business, selling products, working from home, operating a shop, or just having a side hustle. Now, one thing I do want to make very clear about is do not wait to the end of the year to figure out what is happening in your business. By then, you may be looking backwards at 12 months of decisions that you cannot fix. Monthly bookkeeping is going to give you that chance to adjust while the year is still happening, while you can still change prices, cut unnecessary costs, change vendors, set aside some extra money, plan for that slow month. Ask for help before it becomes a mountain. That is what good bookkeeping gives you, options. All right, so let's get a few listener questions. This one here is from Ashley. It says, if I check my bank account every day, do I really need a profit and loss report? Absolutely. Your bank tells you how much cash is in that account at the moment. A profit and loss report is going to show you the income and experiences for a period of time. It's going to help you to see whether or not your business is operating profitably. So both are useful, but they're going to answer two totally different questions. Thank you. All right, next is going to be Mark. He says, how often should I review my business numbers? Well, we talked about that a little bit earlier. At a minimum, I would say at least once a month. If your business has higher number of transactions like payroll, inventory, a lot of cash moving kind of in and out, you may want to check in weekly. Important thing is that you're going to stay current and you're going to make this something that you're doing all the time. It's going to be a habit. All right. So I have one from Tina here. It's the big one. What if I don't understand my profit and loss report? Well, let's start with the big sections of it. Look at your income, your expenses, your net profit or your net loss, and then ask questions about anything that looks unfamiliar or out of place. Get a bookkeeper, even if they just need to go over 1 month with you just to help you understand your profit and loss. Talk with them. A bookkeeper can help you make sure your transactions are also categorized correctly so that the report is explaining what it's supposed to be. All right. I got one from Cody here. I got two more here, guys. I got one from Cody. He says, hey, I made a profit, so why does it feel like there's no money left? Profit and available cash are not always the same there, Cody. Cash can be used for things like loan payments, equipment purchases, inventory taxes, owner draws. But that's why it's important to look at your profit and loss report and your upcoming cash needs together. All right, lastly, this one's from Miss Danielle. She says, what is one thing I should do this month if I'm behind on bookkeeping? Oh, girl, start with your business bank account. Gather those transactions, make sure income and expenses are identified, and work 1 month at a time. Do not let being behind keep you from getting started. Okay, friends. Your numbers do not have to be scary. They are simply information, and the sooner that you look at them, the sooner you can use them. Set a monthly check in, look at your income, expenses, profits, and cash. Write down what needs attention, and then make one solid decision for the next month. If you need help catching up your books, setting up a clean bookkeeping system, or just understanding what your reports are telling you, please reach out to BB Taxes and Notaries. Bye for now. Until next time, remember to stay compliant. Thanks for joining us for Behind the Books with Brandy. Follow the show so you'll never miss an episode. And remember, good records, smart planning, and the right guidance can make all the difference. Until next time.